G'day humans, Chris Stead here. Today, I'm going to talk to Dr. Nina Lee. Now, she's the head of science for Osin, which is a New Zealand company, which is focused in on beating the modern issues we have with using artificial light well into the night and at awkward hours of the day, and the impacts that's having on many things. For most people, that's sleep, but also it affects other parts of our lives as well. So I'm going to jump into a chat here with Dr. Nina Lee, and she's going to take us through, her background, what the product does, how it works, and how humans are needing to find ways to help ourselves reconnect with our circadian rhythms. Let's dive in and have a chat to Dr. Nina Lee. Well, thank you, Dr. Nina Lee, for joining us today. I really appreciate your time. Can you start by telling me a little bit about your academic background and how that led you to Osin?
Oh, brilliant. Hi, thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me here. For my background, I studied, from my bachelor, that is about the biotechnology, which I feel is really interested about using the technology to as a tool to answer some biological questions. And then later on, I find it's really cool or really interesting to keep a bit more deeper understanding of it. So what I did is I applied for study the master program in the UK, in the Birmingham University, actually, to study molecular biotechnology. So I narrowed down to a molecular level that's involved with DNA or RNA and protein stuff. And then later on, I do still want to do more research and find some difficult or hard research questions. So then I started my PhD in Auckland University in New Zealand. That is in anesthesiology department, to study how general anesthetics affect the circadian clocks with Drosophila as my model to test their gene and at the molecular level. Yeah. So this is my academic background. And then because I studied the circadian studies, and then luckily I find Osin, a startup New Zealand-based company, that they really want to make applicable device to improve the circadian health for the office worker at the moment. And I feel it's really passionate and positive about it. That's why I joined Osin.
Right, so central to the Osin Loop is the idea of the circadian rhythm. For the uninitiated, can you explain what that is and what it refers to?
Yeah, so the circadian rhythm is a fantastic area for me because it can be involved in everything. Circadian is from a term that called circa and dian. Circa means it's about, dian is a day. So it's about a day rhythmicity. So for example, the most easier way to understand it is you're waking up during the day and you fell asleep at the night. And that is the day and night cycle. So that is about 24 hours cycle throughout the day, your biological function within 24 hours cycle. That is circadian rhythm. And every organism in the world, on Earth, they have this mechanism almost every year, that's including human.
So one of the most intriguing quotes I've seen about the Osin Loop is that we don't control light, light controls us. And I guess to a certain extent, the loop is controlling us, but in the right way. Is that how the loop works?
Yeah, yes, the loop is kind of like we control it, but it's actually the term is really good. You said about what we don't control light, that light controls us. Yeah, the light controls us, because if you think about in the past, when we don't have light, what we do, like we probably farmer like long time ago before the light intervention to us, right? We're having activities during the day when the sun is out, and then we go back to sleep or rest once the sun is set, because we can't see anything, so we can't do much about it. And then only in the modern society, once the light is everywhere. And then we kind of like in the constant living lighting environment. This is where we are living now. Once you want to have like a 2 a.m. meeting, you can just switch on the light and you think you are functioning like a daytime, like, oh, I'm working and because of the interview. But it doesn't really happen in the past. That's how you explain like why we think we control the light. However, our body, the biological response to it doesn't really follow that pattern. What could be is like you're supposed to rest or have a resting phase during the nighttime, and then during the daytime you have the activity. That's what's been happening for over thousands of years. Only recent 100 years we changed that, and we thought we can just do whatever. And then that caused a lot of the health consequences, that including the obesity, diabetes, some type of cancer as well. This is the study that show the misaligned or disrupted circadian pattern gonna lead to those diseases. Yeah.
So I'm really interested by that. How can you explain how not, I guess, disrupting your circadian rhythm could lead to things like obesity, diabetes, and cancer? I mean, obviously sleep's a big one, but
yes. Yes.
Yeah, but those three things that you mentioned then are also really interesting. What's the science there?
Yeah, so the science behind it, you can say that like that. Once you're eating during the day, your body, the circadian rhythm give the signal that is before you're hungry, you have like produce those hormones or the process for your body to expect it to have food. And then it's easier for you to digest during the day. But for the nighttime, this system, the digestive system doesn't really active. But what happens when you eat, you still digest, but it's not as functional or as a good absorption compared to the daytime. And then that's how, if you stay longer, you feel hungry and you eat, and that leads to a bit diabetes or obesity. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, yeah, it does. So does that mean then when with the circadian rhythms and what the Osin Loop provides in terms of lighting, we'll go into more about how it works in a sec, but does that mean that as well as aligning yourself to the light, you also want to be aligning your eating habits as well?
It could be, yes, because light is one of the most important cue, the environmental cue for your circadian rhythm, because you see the light coming into your eye, and then that specialized photoreceptor is type of the cells that receive that information and deliver that information to the brain, and then that tell you it's a daytime. Light is one of the major ones to tell you it's day, but also eating is another cue. Like the eating time is another cue for your body to know it's a daytime as well. So for those blind people, who doesn't be able to see, that is another option for them to know it's a daytime. And also, I think it's a social environment as well. People is talking a bit more during the day, and you can actively you can roughly know it's a day. And then at the nighttime, it's getting quiet, roughly it's a nighttime. But however, light is like one of the major things that triggered all those biological response. Yeah. So actually, I want to mention how important the circadian rhythm is, because this mechanism or this system is the thing that help you to restore or to give the best use of the energy for your daily life, for survival actually. So our body is, it's a daytime, we go outside, we eat, and we functional, we hunt, we got the food, and then at a certain time you eat, and then at the nighttime, it's less likely you'll be able to have a good, food or anything, so you rest. And also it's unsafe in the past during the nighttime. So we have that habit throughout, many generations, like thousands of years. That's why the circadian rhythm helped us to survive as a species. And that's why, it has the best store of the energy, and you're using it at the best time of the day. So during the daytime, you use the best of it, and then at the nighttime, you store that energy and you can have a better sleep, to make yourself optimizing the health status.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will come to the Osin Loop because of sleep, because they're trying to improve their sleep, and like you say, the recovery from a big day and getting that energy back and that mental well-being. Before we just jump into how the loop works, based on what you just said, then have you got any like comparative data with cultures which are still very much that kind of wake up at dawn, go to bed at dusk, hunter farmer? Compared to like your city dweller, your office worker, have you seen much difference there in the way that people, recover and sleep?
Right. So that's a good one. So I imagine that the question is like in the past, we already kind of like know what's in the past happened and why do we have the loop and then use for the office worker, and why do they need it? Can I imagine your question like this?
Well, more, I was actually thinking that there's still cultures out there. I mean, there's farmers in Australia, obviously, but there's also cultures, say, in Africa and so forth, where they still don't have artificial light. And have you seen data from those cultures at all, or is it more about just comparing office workers to, I guess, non-office workers here?
At the moment, we see most likely like the problem, because we try to. Osin is kind of like a solution driven company, so we want to figure out what's the problem and how do we do to fix that. I refer to those farmers is because what's happened is like how and why we have the circadian rhythm. That's why I'm using that as example. They still exist and they still have a healthier, relatively healthier lifestyle. Their circadian rhythm is okay, so they are not the problem. The problem is the indoor lighting environment is not the ideal at the moment. That's why the loop kick in to try to solve that problem. So if you imagine like nowadays, most of us, well, including me, I spend more than 90% of time indoor instead of really, unless I'm having a holiday, I can go outside but most of the time I spend the time inside the building, and I rely on those indoor lighting. Imagine how many windows in the big building. They have limited space for you to sit. If you're lucky, your desk is next to the window, then it's all good. You have a lot of natural sunlight hit into you, and your body knows it's a natural light. But most of the lighting indoor environment, according to our company, have done a lot of indoor lighting. And they know like a lot of doors don't have that. A lot of offices doesn't have that enough of the natural light. And then that is because the LED lighting, they focus on the visual part, like for you to be able to see, to read, to, be able to form the image in front of you. That's where only recent couple, like 20 years, they figured out there's another type of photoreceptor nerves that is called the IPRGC. I will message you later on about it. This is a new discovered one 20 years ago. And then they find out this special photoreceptor cells in your eye can detect a specific sky blue light-ish color. And that is not for vision. That is not for something like it's a beautiful image to see, to form it. It is just the signal going into your brain and tell your body it is the daytime. And that's completely another like a discovery or the system. So what Osin trying to fix the indoor part is because most of us spend a lot of time indoor, and the indoor lighting environment doesn't have that sky blue light in there during the day. And also we have too much of the blue light at the night. That confused our body, because if you it confused by the day is not too bright, the nighttime is too bright. So our body is like, oh my God, it's every day is a day, and when shall I receive store the most part of the energy to function? So that's a confusing part. That's not really, this is what I thought about.
I mean, that does make sense.
Okay.
So then with that in mind, can you take us through how the Osin Loop works to help rectify that?
So the loop, when we designed the loop, we had a lot of discussion about when it has to align with the natural, like in your time zone, it has to align with a sunrise and sunset. Does that make sense? And then we had a deep discussion about we activate it during the daytime, which is the blue, sky blue color. That's the gap that is not given in the lighting environment, in the office lighting environment. And then we also considered the expert in lighting and also the biologist, chronobiologist. They have summarized a lot of the research paper, not only on the animal model, but also on human trial. They want to give a dose that enough amount of the light that actually human circadian rhythm needed. So they guided us by, there's actually some details on that. It's called the 250 lux of the sky blue light during the daytime use. And then at the nighttime, we better reduce the amount of the blue light as much as possible. Well, the perfect solution will be no light. However, it's like sometimes, you wake up in the middle of the night, you go to toilet and those little blue light in your home would have what we call the light pulse. It can trigger you to think, confuse the circadian part is like it's a daytime. Even for a short period of time, the second day, this information is written it's delivered to your body. It's like, okay, so the day is started at this time instead of early morning. Hope that makes sense. So the loop is designed to have the blue sky color during the daytime use, and then after evening, it slowly transit to the amber light, which doesn't have any of this blue that won't confuse your body about the day and night, and then can safely use during the nighttime. I personally use it. I feel it's really, really, really good. Yeah.
So if you've got the Osin Loop set up and it's kind of showing you the right lights, but then you're also staring at a monitor, doing emails and everything, is the loop still going to have some control then over your circadian rhythm?
Yes, definitely. Because the the screen part, like you put it on the side, it actually gives you this sky blue color that is not the same as the one in front of your screen. The screen is also the light technology that focus on image forming, right? So anything that is for image forming, then the blue part of the spectrum, that is a bit technical. So the blue light that it generates is actually focusing on the 450 nanometer. That is like a bit darker blue, appears in color. But the loop itself, it produced from 470 nanometer to 490 nanometer. That is a pure like a lighter blue, only in color. And that the peaking part of this wavelengths have the most effective function for your circadian part. So it doesn't have the same impact. Well, yeah, that's why the loop we designed it. We considered like where you're gonna sit and how much light you receive, and we give the considerably the best option at the moment. Yeah.
So if you're using the loop, what's going to change, or how are you going to feel different to know that the loop is working for you?
Great question. So the loop, once you activate it, I think that my first impression will be it's really bright. Like it's really outstanding by itself. Even like put it on the desk, it's really bright. And then you're using it during the day, and then you try to have less of the blue light at the night. Like the loop is designed for use the whole day. And then what you're gonna feel like is your mood is elevated during the day. You feel more energy during the day. And at the nighttime, when you prepare for sleep, I think it is easier for you quicker for you to fall asleep. And your sleep quality is getting better than before. So I think that's the two part of it. And then for the long-term use, you will have more feeling of, oh, actually, I don't know, but I sleep better than before. This is what we heard the most from our testers, like the beta testing. We have the feedback from from people who is using it. So yeah, more efficient, like more good sleep as well. And I think the other one is in the morning. Do you use alarm to waking up, or do you naturally waking up at a certain time?
Depends on what's on that day.
Yeah. So to me, well, not at the moment, like before, once if I have a lot of the natural daylight during the day and then really dark at the night, I actually can waking up without any like using alarm. Like for example, if I want to get not specifically the time, it's just, you know, when your body knows it's the daytime, you're naturally waking up. You don't have to use an alarm to waking you up. Do you know what I mean over there? So
yeah,
it's called the circadian entrainment. So I train myself like, it's the daytime, and I can have a constant training for my circadian pattern from like, I think it's like how you adapt into a different time zone. Remember, like if you go to another country, right, your body slowly getting to their time zone, like waking up at the daytime and then fell asleep at the night. That's the adaptation. That adaptation is called the you can see that as circadian entrainment, like in the academic term. But this is something that you can do, and then that's the feeling of reduced, slowly jet lag feeling by using the loop.
That's actually really interesting, because I was going to ask you, can we adapt to artificial light in one lifetime, or is it something that needs that kind of deeper evolution of many thousands of years?
It's a good one. Like, that's a great question. That's back to what we said about the light. Like, we're not controlling the light, light is controlling us, right? Now we are using a light, we control it and let it control us. Does that make sense? So the loop is designed to use to let the light control us again, but to fulfill your normal day and night. Does that make sense to you? Yeah.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a bad thing for the artificial light at all, because they exist with a good reason, and it does improve a lot of improve the society, improve everything. So we try to use a modern technique, the lighting device, to fix the problem that is created even before. So I think that's a good part of it. Yeah.
Now, as we kind of talk more a little bit about sleep, like what it is about modern lifestyles, I guess we've kind of identified that to a certain extent. What is it that is about modern lifestyles that is detrimental the most to human sleep? What things are people doing every day that they probably don't realize is really affecting their sleep?
Yeah, so during the day, so the sleep part is really a big topic. Like, a lot of things actually can impact on the sleep. The example is if you feel stressed at work during the day and you think about it at the night, you probably can't really easily fall asleep, and your anxiety level is really high and you don't really feel relaxed. And then that's an accumulation from the daytime, and also the way you think about it is like, oh yeah. But even though sometimes you don't want to think about work, you probably put a phone in front of you and search some interesting videos, make you laugh, make you feel relaxed, but actually it doesn't. What it does is there are two things happen there. From what I understand, the first one is the interesting information. It can stimulate your body to be more excited about it, and you won't be ready to feel calm and go to sleep. The second one is the light device that you're using, the phone. The phone also emits this blue light, and it's really, because it's at night time, and our body is really sensitive to the blue light at the night time. So that signal give your body delivered to your eye, and then makes you feel, oh, it's still daytime. So we delay, so we push the sleep a bit later. The two things happen there, and then you just not easy to go to sleep. So this is what I understand from the sleep part. So try to put the phone away and try to dim the light, make the room temperature not too high or too low, like make it comfortable. Sometimes using a weighted blanket. Those are all the studies to show to have a better sleep. Yeah. Also, there's another thing called melatonin. I didn't mention why you don't feel sleep, because the blue light, you see the blue light go to your brain, and then, the blue light signal go to your brain, and then let your body push your sleep later by control one of the hormone called melatonin. That is the hormone that promotes sleep. That is prepared for lower your body temperature, and also your core body temperature is prepared to be lower once you're ready to sleep. Heart rate is decreased, not so active during the day, not as active as during the day. So this is a preparation for a good sleep. And then the circadian rhythm helping that as well. So there's two parts to control sleep, sorry. There's one thing called sleep pressure. That is, the longer time you are awake, the more tired you are, and that's the build up, right? And then at nighttime you fell asleep. That is one pathway. The second one is a circadian rhythm. So it's kind of like controlled by the hormones or the SCN from the brain. Yeah. So two systems control our sleep.
We've talked a little about the loop here, but where is Osin looking to go next as it further looks to help people reconnect with their circadian rhythms?
Yeah, so first of all, what we want to do is to tell them what is circadian rhythm and why do we have it, and why it's important to maintain a better circadian rhythm. Because the study have shown that it is 87% of the office worker who actually have what we call a social jet lag. That is the cause of the one thing is it's too dim at the daytime and then too bright at the nighttime together. It causes the social jet lag. So you can consider that if you wonder do you have it or not, then you need to think about, do you waking up at a different time during your weekend compared to your work days? If you do sleep in during the weekend, it means, first of all, you sleep deprived and your circadian rhythm is not so stable or maintained in the same way. So that's a part. So the Osin want to, first of all, educate the people to know how important it is, and then have a better or healthier lifestyle. And if not, if you don't have option to go outside to receive the natural light, the loop is an option for you that, it's always there. What you need to do is just switch it on and using it. So that is something you can optimize your daytime lighting. Also, better use it at the night as well, so not receive too much of the blue. The next for us is also to validate our research. So what we want to do is to do the human trial by collaboration with universities, research institutions, to have a better or even more options. Like the loop at the moment is the first product, and what's next? What can we do even better? Or can we personalize that device? Because what we know is individual photoreceptor nerves are quite different. So you see the world is actually not exactly the way I see the world, even with the color or this information. So the cells process it slightly different. So my question will be, is that possible to, to say the sensitivity of that and to personalize your device to give you the best circadian health for you by using the LED product. Also later on, there's another things we try to maybe think about using some medical research or clinical study to see if it can help the depression part, because it has some impact on the mood as well. This is another part we need to think about in the future to get more of the good research data to show. Yeah.
Dr. Nina Lee, thank you very much for your time today. It's been really, really interesting and very, very informative. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you.
So there we go. There's a chat with the head of science at Osin, Dr. Nina Lee. I really appreciated her time and lots of insights there, I thought. Now, after we had that interview, we just kept chatting for a little while, and she mentioned something really interesting. She's actually got a 10-week-old baby at the moment, which you might have actually been able to see. She was holding at the bottom of that video. But she was saying she's been using the Osin Loop 24 hours a day in her bedroom, so then when she wakes up in the middle of the night to breastfeed, she's not getting any of that blue light, and she's found that she's waking up refreshed, even if she's getting up through the night 3, 4, 5 times to breastfeed. So I thought that was really, really interesting, having 3 kids myself and watching the way that my wife suffered through those early period of each of the kids' lives. So I thought was extra valuable information I definitely wanted to share. I also using the product myself, so I'm hoping to get a review up on the channel soon. So make sure you subscribe so you get some of my thoughts and my experiences with it in the near future. Otherwise, I'm Chris Stead. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, check you later.